So one of the friends of our channel recently asked if I can do a comparison between Killeen and Temple. Well, asking you shall receive. Gotta be honest though, it's gonna be really hard for me to be totally unbiased because I'm a Killeen guy through and through. If it weren't for selling houses, I probably would never go to Temple. But I've put plenty of clients in plenty of houses in the Temple area. So I think it's a good option for some people who might be moving to the area. Maybe just not for all people. Now, I'll start this out with a small story. The reason Temple is not one of my favorite places is because it gives me a bit of a bad memory. My wife and I were once on a date and we were sitting at the bar of one of the local eateries having a great time, and our date kind of got hijacked by a couple of locals who were a little bit more talkative than I think she would have liked. At that time, I was just open and friendly and talking, but my wife was in a place where she really wanted to connect and kind of have some alone time with her husband. So she didn't like that very much. We left that place. I was in the doghouse, and ever since, Temple has been on my no-go list. Now that's just my personal experience, but in this video, we're gonna get into some of the numbers, ratings, and statistics between Killeen and Temple, Texas, so you can decide which place is right for you. Oh, by the way, my name is Stephen Harris. I am a real estate broker in the area, and we would love to hear about your situation. If you're coming to town and you want to either go to Temple, Killeen, Coppers Cove, Harker Heights, any of those places, we are here to serve. Would love to connect with you. Just shoot me an email. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So these are two fantastic towns, and they are about 20 minutes apart from one another, but I think they are also very, very different culturally and statistically. So let's start with the numbers. Killeen has a population of around 156,000. And if you are in the streets of Killeen, then you will know it kind of has a more energetic and bustling feel to it. Definitely more on the urban side of things. While Temple only has about 85,000 people and definitely has a more rural suburban vibe. And it's also next door to Belton, which is a straight up lake town. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, then Temple is definitely going to be a good choice for you. Now, Temple has a little bit more elbow room. 74 square miles, while Killeen on the smaller side has about 54 square miles. So Killeen has double the population, but less the land mass. And so that ends up equaling more traffic and a denser populated area. Now, let's talk Temple according to one of my favorite sites, that is niche.com. It is one of my go-to places when it's time to do research on a particular area. It ranks Temple as the 5th best place to live in Central Texas, with Morgan's Point being number 1 and Harker Heights being number 2. It has the average household income right around $74,000, with the median being $56,000. It also rates the public schools there a really, really solid B. Now, it is a bit more pricey to live in the Temple area and has been for a good while. The median list price at the time of this recording is $316,000 according to altosresearch.com, which is where I pull most of my housing statistics. Now, if you've ever been to Temple, then you know Baylor Scott & White is a major player there. They employ right around 11,000 people. And with other major employers like Walmart's distribution and H-E-B's distribution centers, Temple is a hub for great employment opportunities. And the healthcare scene is booming with 3 major hospitals. Now let's swing by Killeen. It's definitely known for its military spirit, and Fort Hood is the beating heart of Killeen. Now, a lot of people that work in Fort Hood live in the Temple area, but Fort Hood is the #1 employer for all of Killeen, as well as KISD, that's the school district, and First National Bank, which you can find in every H-E-B and Walmart in the city. Now, it's actually rated number 7 on the best places to live according to niche.com, and the average household income is right at $52,000. One of the biggest advantages to the Killeen area is the abundance of houses, which ends up equaling more affordable houses. So the median home price at the time of this recording in Killeen is $260,000. Now compare that to the 316 in Temple. If affordability is what you're after, then I think we have a clear winner. Now, when it comes to schools, Killeen kind of has a bad rap, but according to niche.com, the public schools are rated at a B-, a little bit less than that B for Temple. Now, I will say this, I've had clients tell me that they want to move to the Temple area for the schools. I've not had many clients tell me that they want to move to the Killeen area for the schools. Just some food for thought. I don't have school-age kids, so I can't really give you any insight, but I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. Now, we talked about how Temple feels more suburban, but has some really major employers. Well, Killeen is definitely more on the urban side and also has really diverse community, as well as some of the best local eateries you're gonna find. I will say this, if you live in Killeen, you don't ever have to go to Temple for anything. But if you're in Temple and you want some of the best food ever, you're gonna come to Killeen. And so one of the things that I want to do with this channel is get away from always injecting my own opinion on everything. So let's go to niche.com and look at some of these reviews. Now, Temple is rated a 3.5 out of 5 stars on niche.com with about 253 reviews. I decided to pull a 5-star review and a 1-star review. Let's check out what people had to say. So I'll start with the 5-star review, and it's from an anonymous person. It says, I love the small town feeling Temple offers while remaining in between several big cities to satisfy any adventurous craving. Temple offered a free fireworks show for the 4th of July, and it was a breathtaking display. There are plenty of small things to do in Temple and several popular shopping areas. The best part is everything is within 20 minutes of each other and traffic is hardly an issue. There is an abundance of parks around the city and people are always out with their family or pets walking the local trails. Overall, Temple is a relatively quiet city, but it's growing in popularity as many discover this hidden gem. That's a great review. Super sweet. And I agree with most of the things that they're saying here. I think Temple is gonna experience massive growth in the future. Now let's read the 1-star review. You should really check it out before moving here. Very crowded, high crime, rude people everywhere, wink wink. The mall is virtually deserted because of criminal activity, and if you want to see the town represented best, go to the major grocery retail stores. Too many car washes and the infrastructure does not support the ever increase in population. Overpriced real estate and cookie cutter houses springing up everywhere. I'm not saying that you shouldn't move here, just that you should get a motel/hotel room for a couple days and see what you think. I personally hate the way this town has devolved into an overcrowded, crime-ridden place. Really sad. Now, this review was written about a month ago and they really leaned in. Now, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Which one of these reviews do you think more accurately depicts Temple, Texas? Let's do Killeen. And I actually pulled a couple from each one because they were a little short and not as in-depth as the ones in Temple. And all of these reviews are from like the past few months. Let's start with the 5-star rating. I love that although it's growing, it has always been close-knit and family-oriented. And I would like to see a change in the things to do. Gets kind of boring and definitely needs more places to go and things to do for our youth to keep them out of trouble. I think that's a solid review and I agree with all those things. Let's do the other 5-star review. I moved to Killeen in 2019. My husband is stationed at Fort Hood. Though Hood has received negative press, it's not bad. It's a great community to raise our future generations. The local teachers are very passionate about teaching and the city is very clean. The townsfolk are very generous and kind. Shouts out to the townsfolk. All right, now let's see what the 1-star reviews say. Loud, loud, loud. There's constant sirens, gunshots, and helicopters. I even live in the good part of Killeen, and I cannot stand it. Do not go here. I do not recommend. Former resident, 2 months ago. Jeez. All right, so Killeen actually can get pretty loud, and that is what we call the sounds of freedom. And the big difference between living in Killeen and Temple. In Killeen, you will hear the sounds of freedom coming from the military base, which is those tanks and weapons testing in most parts of the city. Whereas in Temple, you don't really get that. Let's check out the other 1-star review. Horrible weather, constantly arrogant people who are too numbed by the sun to simply greet another person. Living here makes you feel as if everyone is against you instead of working together. Terrible place to live. 2 months ago. Gee, oh man. So these are 2 pretty harsh reviews. I am curious to know, Killeen residents, what do you think? Which one is the more accurate depiction of the city, the 5-star or the 1-star? Is it a mix? Maybe so. So what's your verdict? Temple has its suburban scenery, top-notch healthcare, and cozy neighborhoods. Meanwhile, Killeen has military charm, affordability, and a bustling local scene. If you want to know more about Killeen, we have tons and tons of videos on this channel, so feel free to dive deeper into those. I'm curious to know, which one would you pick for your future place to live? Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.